Welcome back to the I Am Passionate podcast. It's your host, Jaren, and I hope you all are doing well. It has been a little bit since I have last made a podcast episode, and the reason for that has just been I have been very, very busy, with my job. What I do is with high school sports, and, the high school sports season is officially over for the summer. Obviously it'll come back, come August, September. So, I'm staying tuned for that. And just also in general, just, just staying busy, also helping the family, trying to, you know, keep up, with my friendships and other kind of relationships. But I'm doing really, really good. I'm in a very positive mood. And so for this episode, I'm going to be talking about the Carter Six, the Lil Wayne recent album. And before I get into it, like at first, I kind of was thinking the internet was just trashing on it, just because it's the internet. There are so many trolls on the internet, and so I just was thinking that maybe if this album wasn't named the Carter Six, maybe it will have been better received. But I found out very, very quickly after listening to it, yeah, that is not the case. This is just not a good album. It is not. And normally I am a bit more positive when it comes to trying to focus on, like music and things that I talk about and things that I review. Um, I feel like if I was to say that I like this album, I would be lying to you. People that I've also asked in my personal life in regards to what their favorite Lil Wayne project is. Most people always say the Carter 3 or the Carter 4, which, that can, I think, kind of change because, I'd say the main few people that I would have asked would have been, like my siblings and other people from college that I know, like Lil Wayne, but they kind of all agreed on one of those two. My favorite is the Carter 4, and I will admit it's because I am very heavily biased. My favorite Lil Wayne song is President Carter, and he performed that when I saw him live. I believe my brother took me to see him when both concerts, well, festivals. My brother took me to go see. I was 20. I hadn't turned 21 yet. So, yeah, I just hearing him perform President Carter live, that just was awesome. And I definitely do need to go to a concert, another festival. I highly doubt I'll be able to do it this year, but I definitely will do it next year for sure. Next year for sure. I had like the SpongeBob narrator voice in my head, but I'm getting off topic. So I over the course of my life, Lil Wayne I've just appreciated more as I've gotten older because I understand his lyrics. His lyrics don't go over my head, and I'm sure for a lot of people it's like that. And not even just with Lil Wayne. It's like you listen to a song enough and you catch things that you miss. It's the same way for a movie. It's the same way for a video game. It's just the same thing for a lot of the things in our day to day lives. And so I just understand and appreciate a lot of the lyrics that he says to like today, whether it's okay, I'm listening to one of his mixtapes and then I hear him say something that's like, oh crap, I didn't realize that what he was saying. Like, I finally understand what he's saying. I understand it now. But this album, if I was to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. If I was to be generous, I'd give it a 4.5. I'd give it a four and a half out of 10. Honestly, just because of my favorite four songs in the album, the half a point comes from I really liked all the beats on the album. Like, I'm not gonna say like they were amazing, like greatest beat of all time, because none of them were. But a lot of them, like I was enjoying it. In like my rule for listening to albums is you have to listen to the album at least twice. In which I struggled even the first time. I'll be 100% honest with you. When I started, I was like driving like to my job, and I was like, wait, because I wasn't really liking it as I was driving, and I didn't know at the time if I was in the train of mind that I was not appreciating the music because I was on my way to work, and most people don't want to go to work, but I do like my job, or at least like my job in Naperville as a sports videographer. Um, so I'm like, let me listen to this when I'm more at home, relaxed, that sort of thing, right? And even when I was doing that, I just, after the first few songs, I just could not get into it. I could not get into it. And so I'm like thinking about it. This song in its entirety is 19 songs and it's 1 hour and 7 minutes. I feel like 19 songs, I feel like that's a lot personally, Now, like if I'm gonna go back and look at some of Lil Wayne's other albums, like the Carter Five that came out in 2018, Carter Five has 23 songs, so even more. Uh, if I was to go, I Am Not a Human Being 2, even just the normal version, that it has 14 songs and it's just over an hour. The deluxe, just to kind of consider that, it's got 17 songs. If I'm to go to the Carter Four, my favorite Lil Wayne project, it's got 21 songs, and so I feel like I'm not gonna go through all of Lil Wayne's albums just for their song lengths, but I feel like because the human attention span has been getting worse over time, and TikTok, has definitely have TikTok and other social medias to thank for that. I don't think most of humanity has the patience to listen to, song that's got, an album that's got, so many songs on it. 19 songs, which I get it. A couple of the other albums I said had just as many songs, if not more. And yeah, and also as I'm scrolling through Spotify, I see that Lil Wayne has a, I guess, bonus version of this like album, which it looks like there's a couple more songs on here. There's a remix of his song "Band from New Orleans" uh, with Nicki Minaj and "Mama Don't Worry," which I don't believe that was on the main version with Future and Lil Baby. I'm just now figuring this out, so I will probably at least update the description of this episode with my thoughts on those two different versions. But from what I can tell, everything else looks exactly the same. Just the main difference being the two extra songs, because the bonus version says two extra songs. Like obviously, I can do basic math, but yeah, no, I feel like I was forcing myself to listen to the album, not just from I need to produce a podcast episode. It just the enjoyment was not coming to me the way it should come to me, and it just was crazy. And I did think midway through the album, like, even though that, yes, I was one of those people that would have appreciated Lil Wayne ever performing the Super Bowl, but I love Kendrick's performance. I believe that is the best halftime show I've ever seen. And I've seen the halftime show performances before I was born. It is the best halftime show, in my opinion. And I don't think Lil Wayne would have been able to put on a performance as well as Kendrick Lamar did. And this is not me trying to compare the two. And I think that right now it's just kind of recency bias because I say that because I did not like this album. But hey, I'm kind of rambling a little bit. So I'm gonna talk about some of the songs that I liked specifically, and why I like them. A lyric that kind of got stuck in my head, and I'll kind of say a few of the songs that I just did not like. There's only one song I honestly skipped because I just really could not get into it. I made it about mid into the song, and I was like, nope, on to the next one. So the first song I will be reviewing is "Welcome to the Carter." I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I feel like it was a great start, like, or great transition, I should say, after the interlude, the first song on the album. It's giving like an old school kind of vibe. Lil Wayne's coming off with bars off the rip, and like I'm not gonna lie, I paused this song a few times because I'm like, man, I'm getting hyped. And so with some of these lyrics that I read, I'm not going to read them word for word. I'm just going to say them in a way that you all will understand. And also, me reading them, it's probably not going to have the same effect on you as it did on me when I originally listened to it. But if you listen to the whole song, you'd get what I'm saying. Life's a B. I'ma make her your ex. Um, which yeah, I thought that was fire. And which it also would be really really funny if if I basically find out that like the lyrics that I've picked, they're not exactly what he said. If I'm wrong, which it is very very possible I am wrong, but I do believe even if I am wrong and I'm not saying these lyrics back, you know, as accurate as possible, the general message I know is right. So like maybe I guess what I'm trying to say is like okay, maybe he's saying uh instead of saying I'm gonna make her your ex, could have been saying I'm gonna make her my ex. So like I could have, you know what I mean, like slightly misheard that. Which I get it. That does change the significance of it, but that's not the general point. At least that I'm trying to make. The next song, Bells, I give it an 8 out of 10. I think I kind of liked the story that this song told a bit more, but I kind of liked the vibe, the beat to the first song a tad. Not the first song, Welcome to the Card, a bit more. When Lil Wayne said, "I'm a son these brothers. Where's your sunscreen, brothers?" Again, think that just was crazy. I think that was how it made me feel. I was hyped. And so like as I was listening to the first few songs, I'm like, man, I'm loving this album so far. Following song, hip hop. I give it a 9 out of 10. This was the first song with features on the album. And my biggest rule of a song with features is that each person needs to add something to the song. I Nala. And so Big X the Plug and Jay Jones, I believe, only made Lil Wayne's verses better. And when I say like they need to add something to the song, like when hear this is thinking of Drake a little bit, his song Life's Good with Future, which I think it came out around 2020. I don't remember the exact time off the top of my head. But I'll be honest with you. The only reason I don't like that song is because I feel like that song is two different songs on the same song. Like, let's just say if Drake was on that song alone and he just had his, and then Future basically did that called had like the same song name, but then his song, like, then I think I would have liked that song better. Because I don't really feel like they added something to that. And hey, that might be a hot take because when that song came out, people loved that song. I just was not one of those people. Um, and so like, and also I'm not saying it's a bad song either. So moving forward to the next song, Sharks. I gave this a 10 out of 10. This is my favorite song on the album. Um, I've had a lot of people tell me to listen to Jelly Roll. He's a country music singer, which I mean I've heard of his name before, and I'm not a country music fan. When I was younger, I used to just not be able to listen to it at all. I just was so like, no, like I don't want to listen to this. Now I could at least listen to it. It's just still not my personal favorite. But I did not expect Jelly Roll on this song. I feel like I do remember reading something like he wants to be more involved with just like music in general, not just country. And so I just think that his verse great. And my brother had brought this to my attention a while back that a lot of black people do not like Big Sean as a rapper, and I don't fully understand why. Like, I'm not saying that like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm saying that more of like I don't understand. I need someone to enlighten me. If maybe people don't like him as a person, okay, I get it. By that I mean like if you have a reason for that, so be it. But I don't know. I really enjoyed Big Sean, and I just enjoyed his verse in this song. I think I'd have to listen to the song maybe one to two more times to say like, okay, this is the best song on this album. And also, even though that these four songs, I'm giving them high scores, I do not think these songs are anywhere near Lil Wayne's best songs. These ratings are kind of just based off of my enjoyment. If I was like, if I was to say that it was a perfect song, I'd be like, like no. But if I had to say my favorite verse on this song, which I went back, I made sure that when I was writing this in my notes that I had it correctly. If brothers ain't checking their tenders like Chick-fil-A on the Christian day. Oh my god. I literally paused the song as I listened to it. I've only had Chick-fil-A like a few times, but like I always see the memes of people wanting Chick-fil-A and it's on a Sunday. Um, and it's like, bro, what? Like I thought that was pretty cool. And then the other part, the song I really liked, I believe it was Wayne who said it. Where was everybody at? Where was everyone at when I was nobody? that that really hit. And like I just think the song in general, because like my favorite kind of music is the music that's relatable, and I get it. Those of you who know me really, really well, they're gonna say, Jaren, how are your favorite songs relatable when you're like a very big, say, like Juice World fan? And that is a very, very good point because Juice World makes music to a point where I don't relate to it. You, like those of you who know his songs, you're gonna know exactly what I mean if you know my character. But a lot of the things that he'd say emotion wise, that is what I can at least relate to and or understand. And even so, just because I did not do some of the things, most of the things that rappers do, not even just him, I don't do, but I understand it. And so I can appreciate it in its form of music, if that makes sense. And so Yeah, no, those are, I'd say, my favorite four songs on the album. The songs that I could not just get into. I could not get into Band from New Orleans. I'm assuming I because New Orleans is typically abbreviated as NO. I'll be honest, it is the song that I skipped. I just could not get into it. Didn't really like a single thing about the song. Song Cotton Candy, it could have been left off. It really could have. The song Flex Up. So I feel like I heard, a lot of people like the song. People seem kind of divided on it. That might be like the sleeper song on the album. Same with Loki's theme. Song Peanuts to Elephant. I don't remember if I skipped the song. I don't remember if I did. But I just remember not liking the song at all. If anything, that song gets a 0 out of 10 for me personally. The song Rary with, I believe, his son Cameron Carter, which let's Google that right now. What is Lil Wayne's son's name? His son's name. Yeah, his son is on this album. I don't know if this is younger son or not, but doesn't matter exactly. His son is on the album. Which I mean, I feel like that is probably pretty cool to say that you got your son on a track. Just like I guess the only comparison I've got off the top of my head is like LeBron basically playing with his son Bronny. Uh, I think that was pretty cool. The song "Written History," the final song in the album, was not bad. It just was like it was just all right to me. Alone in the Studio with My Gun featuring MGK, Kodak Black. I feel like that was another song that the internet just absolutely hated. Mostly, I feel like I just hearing things about Kodak specifically, which I mean, like I remember when Kodak first, I guess was starting to get popular, starting to get known. I was not a fan of Kodak, and then as time went on, listening to his stuff again, and I was like, okay, I'm a Kodak fan. Like I'm not saying like I'm a diehard Kodak fan, but I do like and appreciate some of his music, like Tunnel Vision, great song. And like I just think also whenever I think of Kodak, I think of the 49ers coming out of the tunnel to his song Super Gremlin, which I'm not really the biggest fan of that song, but that's not what this episode is about. But album as a whole, I say that this gets 4 out of 10. This could this be an album that I foresee appreciating more when I get older? Probably at least a little bit. I don't think my overall opinion of this being probably his worst piece of work, like in general as a whole. And like, there's probably a Lil Wayne, a whole lot of Lil Wayne I am unfamiliar with. I could admit that because like I feel like there's a lot of music where like me myself, like I love music, but there's probably a lot of it that maybe either A, I'm just not remembering, or B, it just, you know, maybe I just missed it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a lot of Lil Wayne's, like his best music would have came when I was, like growing up, like looking at like for me personally, the Carter 4, the year that it came out, which I get it. I've said I've been biased like 5 times in regards to that album. The Carter 4 came out in 2011. The Carter 3 came out in 2008. 2008, I was 7. Um, 2011, I was 10. So I truly don't know. Let me know some of your thoughts down below. And lastly, I'm gonna close this episode out by saying I hear a lot of people basically saying, that Lil Wayne is washed and whatnot, which I mean he's been rapping for so long that like I'm not going to truly call him washed. If he makes another album, say next year, and it is not good like this one, I will probably say like okay, because like I think of it like sports. Everybody should be okay to like for I think Aaron Rodgers said it. Like his worst season is some guys, personal best seasons. So thinking of it from like that perspective, I think it's just unfair to say if I made 10 music albums, if all 10 of them are not hits, like by that I mean like bangers, I can go back to all of them, then like I failed as a rapper. Like that I think is truly unfair. I get it, like, you might like if you don't make like I don't know the sales on this I don't know how much money Lil Wayne would have made off of it. So from a money standpoint, I feel like you can say that yes, the Carter 6 sold nothing. It didn't even raise $100,000. That $100,000 is completely hypothetical. That just is me making a genuine point. Uh, but yet no, I think that I'm not the type of person to throw around that like these musicians are washed after one bad album or one bad song, because even before this album came out, can you honestly say that Lil Wayne has not had maybe a couple of songs where you were like, why put this on the album? Like, why? Now, is this album for me the album where he's most had the, yeah, like, what are you doing, Lil Wayne? I don't know, but I'm not gonna call him washed just yet. And just because I know there are people who listen to this podcast that aren't gonna know what washed means, uh, basically washed is saying that, okay, this person's not good anymore. So it's funny that I'm going to explain that, but I do know that there will be people who listen to this podcast, specifically people older than me. I'm not going to say your name directly, but people older than me who aren't going to know what it means. And they're going to text me saying, what does this mean? There you go. But I just want to thank you all for watching this episode. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next episode.